To Murphy, Sam, and Jody. After the show, we hang out longer, and on Fridays, we catch up on email and calls and other things that we might have missed during the week.
Let's dig in. Mom superpowers. This keeps rolling in because mamas, we hear you.
Moms do have superpowers.
I will never forget it happening so naturally for me. Not all moms are the same, but I remember being in recovery after Taylor was born, and I was drugged up, remember, because it was an emergency C-section.
Yeah.
I was seeing 3 of you, Murphy, but still, I was like, clip my fingernails. I don't want to scratch her. You just become a mother, probably before that when you're pregnant, but all the things that you need come to you naturally. They just do. So mom superpower, I was saying this week that one of mine is that I know where everything in the house is. Mm-hmm. I always did. I know that your book sack is underneath the sofa, Taylor. Things like that. I would just know those things.
You're just as good at that as you always have been, and I find I'm losing things more and more all the time. I don't know if I'm trying to do too much at one time and not paying attention.
I'll tell you a quick little story from recent. We were leaving to go somewhere, and we were trying to get out of the door, and I was in the bathroom in front of my vanity putting on perfume. And I turned, and we have a shelf on that wall with towels, folded towels. And sitting balanced on top of folded towels was Murphy's phone.
Oh.
And I'm thinking, he just cranked the car. And he's waiting. He thinks he's waiting on me. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to do my perfume. And I walk into the kitchen, and you've got that face, that concerned look with your eyebrow goes crooked. And you're like, I can't find my phone. And I thought about just wondering.
Had you tried the bathroom on the shelf?
I thought about seeing if you would just retrace your steps and find it, but I didn't want to wait. I'm like, it's on top of the towels in the bathroom.
Yeah, it was such a fast response. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just saw it. That's all. I'm not trying to look for things for you. I just see things.
Yeah, I would have eventually been there,
right.
Just point me in one direction and let me go.
Kimberly sent this. I've always been able to describe exactly where something is as a mom superpower. Example, the sour cream is on the second shelf on the right towards the back. I feel you, Kimberly.
Oh, man.
Or the dress shoes are in your closet, left side, under your bag.
Man.
My husband is always in awe, LOL. Yeah, it's a mom thing. Lisa says regarding mom superpowers, well, I can find anything eventually. I'm really good at hiding things like Christmas gifts. Usually they're found after Christmas.
Yeah.
I've done that too. I hate that when I fool myself. You'll hide things.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, where did I hide it?
But isn't it fun when you find them?
I guess so. If you find them in time.
That's why I take pictures. I told you about that. I remember, of course, as I said earlier in the week in the show,
Yeah.
you just don't want that to show up on one of your automatic Google Photos or Amazon things or whatever,
The whole finding things and misplacing things in a home, it's another reason to not have too much clutter and to not have too much stuff out. It's another, it affects everything, your sanity, all of that, to not have too much stuff everywhere, because you have a bunch of stuff everywhere. Things hide easily in there.
Yeah.
Things do, but even when you put things away, sometimes things wind up hiding too.
I guess so.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I'm with you on the non-clutter
On the
stuff.
clutter. Jodi sent this in, Jodi with a Y. My mom's superpower is knowing they're going to do something before they do it. Because, I wasn't born at age 30. I grew up and lived through my teen years, too.
Yes, that's right. Right.
Yeah.
It's also that's of knowing your children, knowing things. Like I always, and I know a lot of moms and dads will agree, especially when I would pick up the girls in carpool in the afternoon. I could be 5 cars back, but I would see them walk out, and I could tell if it was going to be if there was something wrong. It bothered me, obviously, but I always knew she's going to get in here and she's going to fall apart, or she's going to get in here and she's going to tell me something.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that comes with motherhood, too, knowing when something is wrong with your child, even by the sound of their voice if they call you.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, if Phoebe were to ring my phone right now, or, Taylor, if I answer and the way they say, hey, Mom, says a million things. If it's, hey, Mom, I know things are good. If it's, hey, Mom, can I talk to you? I'm like, hold on a second.
Yeah.
It's just this parenting.
I have that with my kids when they were little, when it came to finding something they lost. Not that I was going to go find it, but it was like, I can't find my, where'd you see it? It was in my room. Go look. I already did. No.
Okay.
Go look.
Right.
Because their look
so going
is,
back to finding things.
yeah, their look is like, whoosh, whoosh, nah.
Yes.
No, this is knowing your kids and knowing how
Knowing
they,
them.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's like,
knowing
no,
that it's
go
there and
back
they're
and
missing
look.
it.
But I looked everywhere. I said, no, trust me, you didn't look somewhere. And sure
Right.
enough, I found it.
Right. Sometimes when you're looking for something, you expect it to jump right out at you, and
Yeah.
it doesn't work that way. Even in the refrigerator, it doesn't work that way. You have to look behind things. You have to look everywhere. Okay, moving on to things we do and do not argue about as couples. Rebecca said, my boyfriend and I will be together for 10 years coming up in February. I'd say 90% of our arguments start because one of us is hungry. God.
I guess that
think
would be
that's true.
hangry, huh?
Hangry.
Yeah.
It's hangry. Murphy is not as pleasant when he's hot.
Oh, well, yeah. What's
It's sweating.
The hot thing is dependent on the situation. If I know that I'm going to be outside working in the heat and I'm dressed for it, or
So
playing in the
situational.
heat, right, it's fine. But if I'm in a work setting, or and I'm trying to get from one place to another, I do. Yeah, the heat is unbearable.
Agreed.
I do not like sweating in my clothes.
I know you don't. I'm sorry. He'll take his shirt off so fast. I'm sweating.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
Even at work?
Not at work, but I'm sure he's wanted
well, I don't
to
know.
at times.
It's never been that hot in here. So
It is not. Being super, super cold for no reason when it's unnecessary bothers me a lot.
Oh,
But
nah.
I can load up layers, which I do.
Yeah.
Even in here, you guys know that.
Yeah.
Okay, this is from Kimberly. This is an email. Hi, Jodi, Sam, and Murphy.
Hey.
hi,
I had to email to let you know how much I enjoy listening to the show.
thank you.
I listen while I am running the grueling 5 miles I run 4 times each week. And sometimes I run 2.5 miles, then walk 2.5 miles back. LOL. Great.
That's
You're getting a
great
lot of good,
exercise,
a lot of good in there. I remember when I used to run, and even when I walk now, Kimberly, it's really good think time too. It's not just physical.
Oh, yeah.
Clear your head, clear your mind. It is so good to start the day that way, or even end the day and leave it all behind you.
Yeah.
Okay, the email goes on to say, your show spreads lots of happiness, not to mention what an example, the marriage you have, Murphy and Jodi. Aw, world needs more people like you, especially in this world we live today, meaning you're very real. It's because we shared our fight recently. I think that's what she's saying.
Yeah.
Try to feed my mind with positivity, and you guys are a part of it. Thank you. Thank you, all of you.
Thank
Sweet.
you. I mean, I think
Sure,
that
we're not an example couple then.
Well, I mean, look, every couple. The whole thing about every couple experiences that. You're right. It all is going to be ups and downs and so forth.
Do you know that I saw a real video recently, and it was Michelle Obama getting very real about her marriage, and I thought it was very open that she would say these things. She was saying most people who are married have times of brokenness. There are times when you are broken, where you don't like each other. And she said, if you're getting married and you think that's not going to happen, it is going to happen. You need to know it. She says there are pictures of them together, beautiful publicity pictures that we've all seen as Americans when he was our president and she was our first lady. And she was like, everybody's loving on that and hashtagging couple goals. And she's like, I was so mad at him in that picture. And we were disgusted with each other. And we weren't spending time together because we needed our, space.
yeah.
And I thought that was a very wide open thing for her to say, because there definitely is truth to it. If you last a long time, there are just as many. I mean, there are broken times.
Yeah.
It's a good way to put it.
I mean, and look, and some of them get really, really dark.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Like, for example.
no, there have been low lows
Yes.
that Jodi and I have experienced that were probably really risky for our relationship overall.
Yes.
And we managed to get through those somehow.
Yeah.
But it's a I think because we all grow up in a world where you want the positivity and you really want to believe in happily ever after. It's just how happily ever after is defined.
Yeah.
It's not one straight, full smiles, always laughs, always giggles. You can't always be, on top in anything.
No,
and I think,
that's the lie of the beginning of a relationship.
yeah, exactly. And and if you didn't have that, if you didn't have the euphoria, you might not have that chemistry to click in the first place. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I know that I grew up that way as a kid, and I don't think my parents were trying to lie or misrepresent or do anything. You pick up what you grow up around. My parents were childhood sweethearts. I mean, they were, high school sweethearts. And so I really grew up thinking that the first girlfriend that I had was going to be the person that I married.
Yeah.
And as I understand now, it's probably a good thing that didn't happen. But
Okay,
anyway,
don't do that.
we don't. And we
You
don't
want to
Don't
drop
do
a
that.
name for us?
no, but anyway,
Don't do that.
but that is how I grew up thinking that is what that would be, and it's
Do you know?
it is the catch-22 of any relationship, because the raw exposure of feelings is something you actually have to have
For it to
for
be deep.
it to work. I know, and it's also the most gentle thing. It's the thing we all want to protect. Our feelings. So
Do you know? Go
I'm going
ahead.
to tell you a misconception, too, and this wasn't me. This was one of my exes. Her roommate in college was with the guy the whole time I knew them in college.
Yeah.
And when they got out a couple of years later, they got married. And she was under the impression, they used to fight a lot, but she knew as soon as they got married, it was all going to change.
Oh
Things were
no.
going to, as soon as she said,
Yeah.
I do, everything was going to change.
Oh
And it's
no.
like, okay.
In fact, that's when you see the real person, because you have made them your family.
Yeah.
When you get married and you start a family and start a life and live under the same roof, that's when you really know a person. Although I've heard you want to really know a person, divorce them. You ever heard that?
no, I have
You
not
really
heard
want to
that.
know who somebody
guess
is.
a lot of people know me
divorce
then, huh?
them.
You know-
Meaning you see, it can get really difficult and ugly and painful.
The other thing, which I'm sure it's a common mistake too, when I was young or in my teen years, I had the superhero syndrome, feeling that it was my responsibility to somehow save some of the people I dated from their current situations, that everything would get better for them if I helped, and I was that
Because
supportive
you
part.
thought that was your role.
Yeah, yeah, and of course if someone is not receptive or open to it, or you really can't save some people from themselves. You know?
Also, what's in it for you?
Yeah,
There's
I know.
nothing in it for you to save someone else.
Yeah,
The best you can offer somebody is to work on yourself. The
Yeah.
best I can offer you is to work on myself.
yeah, you're right.
And just give you the best version of me I can give you.
Yep.
You're not supposed to even look for the perfect person for you. You're supposed to work on yourself. And if somebody is going to work with you, it will happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, how you like that?
Wow.
Serious stuff for an After the Show on Friday. Thank you, Kimberly, for that beautiful, beautiful
Yes.
email. And keep it coming. We love hearing from you anytime.
Missed any part of the show? Get it all on the Murphy, Sam, and Jody podcast.